was up on it, we were getting ready to finish it, put the metal on, and I was on top of the nail gun, nailing down the OSB, the wood that goes under the metal. Well, the supports collapsed, and the whole roof system collapsed, and the joists, when you do a roof, you cut them to a pitch so they'll tie into the existing roof, so they're all cut to a point. Well, they fell like a picket fence, and I fell 10 feet onto them. And the board that actually went through my body, this is an exact replica of what went through my body.
Goodness.
They didn't let me have the one from the hospital, and they had nails just like this, and they were on the roof like this, and when it collapsed, it went up, and I fell 10 feet onto the point. And it went in me here, and it broke a rib here trying to come out. And, you know, I was dazed, and my cousin was on the roof with me, and he fell, and, you know, I knew I was hurt. I knew my bad, and I was dazed for a second. And I heard Danny screaming, "It's stuck in him, it's stuck in him." And I looked down, and hey, he was right. It was stuck in me. And I'm sitting there bleeding, you know, blood just poured out of me. And my uncle had to get a skill saw and actually saw the board off so they could transport me to the hospital. We didn't have time to wait on an ambulance.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and so I just, you know, held around the 2x6, and you know, I walked to the truck and got
Were
in
the
truck.
nails coming, were they in the back of you?
Well, the nails were in the board. The whole board went through me.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, were the nails sticking out your back?
No, it didn't. It broke a rib, but never penetrated coming out. I've still got a knot back there where the rib broke.
So the nails were inside you?
Yeah, everything was still inside me.
Okay.
And you know, they took me to the hospital. You know, we drove down the mountain. We went to North Park because that was the closest hospital. And when I got there, you know, with the emergency room, they said, you know, "There's nothing we can do for him."
Oh my
I
word.
said, you know, their emergency room is usually stitches or a broken arm or leg, and so they just took me inside and gave me some painkillers and, you know, pumped me full of fluids to keep me from running the shot. They waited on the ambulance to transport me to Erlanger. I never lost consciousness. I never passed out. Never went in the shot. But when I fell, I mean, when I saw all this coming out of me, I mean, I knew I was about to die. I mean, there was not a doubt in my mind. You know, I mean, I had seconds to live, and I prayed, and I said, "Lord, prepare my heart, because I'm about to see you." You know? I mean, I was serious. I was cool with it. You know, I said, "Send somebody to watch over my kids, keep them in church, and if I could tell my kids I love them one more time before I die, you know, I'd appreciate it." I didn't try to deal with God. I didn't try to cut a deal, and I wasn't scared. That's what I remember more than anything. I didn't have any fear. I mean, this is the end of my life, you know. Okay, I'm ready to see heaven.
And you weren't hurting?
Yeah.
Well, I wondered why.
Had a stick in me.
I know.
But, you know,
But
I
he
mean,
never did lose consciousness.
I couldn't hardly breathe because it penetrated my diaphragm, the muscles that helped you breathe.
Well, you said they gave you some painkillers.
Well, I was
but
at the hospital, you know, after I'd got, you know, it was probably 15, 20 minutes from the time I fell.
Well, that's what I was talking about. After they gave you the
Oh, I was
painkillers, did
still
that
hurting.
help?
Yeah, a little bit. So, you know, I mean, I knew I was about to die. Blood was pouring out of me, and but I was fine with it. You know, that's what really sticks in my mind. And I didn't have any fear. I was just okay. You know, live a good life. You know,
This is it.
yeah, I'm at the end.
I'll see you in a minute, Lord.
And you know, I didn't say, "Lord, I'll do this for you if you give me, you know, get me out of this." Well, okay. So I get to the hospital. You know, they rush me straight into surgery, and these I can't see the pictures, but
You want my glasses?
Don't feel bad, I can either.
well, the picture should come up.
There it is.
Well, that's me when I'm still in intensive care. That was after the first surgery. The tape you see is where I was still open. They hadn't closed me up yet. I didn't know that at the time. but I had 3 tubes coming out of my stomach, out of my side. One was draining my pancreas. Now I forgot what the other 2 were draining, but it bruised my pancreas, it bruised my lung, it tore through my small intestine. I lost an inch of small intestine, like I say, an inch or so. But you know, I was kind of, nobody expected me to make it to the hospital, you know, let alone, you know, anything else. So I was in intensive care for 3 days, waiting on the second surgery, and then they went in and finished fixing me, and they closed me back up. I had 40 or 50 staples down the front. You know, the doctors, they really didn't expect me to live. Well, I did, you know, obviously, and I got better.
Stubbornness.
Yeah, I'm tough as a little pork rind. But you know, I got a chance to witness to a lot of people in the hospital and tell them what the Lord had done for me. And nobody could believe when I would tell them what happened. And one of the nurses said, well, how did you like riding in Life Force on a helicopter? I said, no, I didn't come in a helicopter. They didn't bring you in a helicopter? I said, no, rednecks come to the hospital in pickup trucks. You know, but we didn't have time to wait on that. Because see, for Life Force to come, they sent an ambulance, evaluate the situation, and we didn't have time. Yeah. And Billy was driving down Fallen Water Road, coming down Signal Mountain like Dale Earnhardt. And,
Was that him with you then?
no, that's he was one of my kids when I was youth pastor.
Oh,
And that's Thomas and my wife.
okay. I can't see them. I can turn that thing towards you, Tommy. Turn the
You
front
can,
of
yeah,
that.
you can tilt the back up.
That way.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But
Good opportunity for a family picture.
yeah, that was Thomas going to the prom. I didn't get a chance to. That's the only time I got to see him in his tux.
Oh,
And so anyway, yeah, I'm in the hospital, and you know, doctors. I met doctors from all over the southeast that come in to interview me, and they videoed the surgery and took pictures.
I was going to ask you if they did that because I figured they did.
Yeah, they said, and I had to sign the release because they wanted to use it for a training aid for
Right.
industrial accidents. And I said, yeah, sure. Now, my wife and kids have both seen the surgery.
Oh.
They emailed it to us.
Gracious.
You know, I can't watch it. I mean, I saw a picture of the board. I told them, the doctors laughed, because the last thing I told them was, following surgery, is save my board, because there ain't nobody gonna believe this.
No.
And the first thing I remember the doctor saying when I came to is, I'm afraid we weren't able to save your board, because it was a biohazard because of the blood and tissue, but I got a picture of it, and they took measurements, and that's the exact replica, nails and all.
Oh,
But the one they took out of me had meat hanging on all the nails.
oh gosh. Oh,
It was like a baited
hard.
fish.
Oh.
And that was enough. You know,
Oh.
I couldn't even bear to see the surgery video. And but one of the doctors, while I was in the room, he sat down with my daughter and he explained what was going on. He had it on his phone, and she was watching the surgery. She said it was like watching Grey's Anatomy live. You know?
I don't watch that.
I don't like it.
But I don't know. Let's see. It's just no pictures.
How long were you in the hospital?
I was only in the hospital 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know, they were giving me a lot of painkillers, IV and by mouth. Well, after the first week there, the Lord just kind of spoke to me. When I say the Lord spoke to me, I didn't hear voices.
I heard a voice today spoke to me.
Well, I don't hear voices.
Is that one
But you
time?
know when
But
he's
you know.
spoken to you.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, when He speaks to you, it's very clear. And it could have been just, you know, my mind putting things together, but it said, you know, you need to walk. And I thought about, you know, Jesus telling the lame man, take up your bed and walk. So I said, oh, okay, all right. So I made a necklace out of tape so I could hang these collection bulbs, like 3 of them. I hung them around my neck, and I got my IV pump. I started walking the hospital. I mean, I walked, you know, I would take, I would walk around the floor, and then an hour or so later, I'd walk around the floor again. And eventually, I got to where I could walk a lot, and the nurses on the far end didn't know who I was or what had happened to me. And one of them said, well, you're just going to walk your way right out of here, ain't you? And I said, I hope. I said, you wouldn't believe I was almost dead a week ago when they brought me in. She said, really, what was wrong? I said, well, did you hear about the guy they brought in with a 2x6 through him? She said, yeah, he's going to be in intensive care for about 3 months probably. I said, no, that's me. And she started doing this, and then when I walked by, I mean, her face just went white.
They were probably watching for you after that. All
I
the
mean,
people.
people whisper and point.
Yeah.
No, I was there in no goofy gown and had my IV pump, and I just walked. Now I was up to like a mile a day. But, you know, that was one of the reasons that I was able to recover like I was, because I pushed myself. I mean, I really
It's
pushed
incredible.
myself. And, you know, I found out there's a word when you're in the hospital that strikes fear and terror into a man's heart. And that word's catheter.
Woman.
Now, not so bad. on
Probably
the
not.
Well, the first two I didn't mind because I was unconscious. But when I had to go live with no painkillers, that was not fun. And you know, the doctors kept coming in, and they just said, oh, man, we just can't believe you're doing this good. You know, at first they were talking, you know, a couple of months in ICU and then several months rehab and learning how to do stuff again. 2 weeks to the day, they released me from the hospital.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't go to work or nothing. You know, I couldn't pick up anything more than 5 pounds. But you know, when I got home, the first thing I remember when I got home, you know, I got settled down. I'd sit in my chair downstairs, and they gave me a lot of heavy painkillers. And the Lord spoke to me again and said, "Get rid of the painkillers. Don't take those painkillers anymore."
Was that hard to do, or you just trusted the Lord?
I gave a few of them to my uncle, and I flushed the rest of them down the commode.
Wow.
And then I got real sick, and I would chill, and I would sweat, and my wife would have to change the covers every morning because, I mean, they would be drenched in sweat, and I was just chilling. I'd sit in the blanket and shiver. And I thought I'd, you know, staph infection, because I'd had a little bit of a fever, and that's why they kept me in the hospital a day or two extra, still letting me go home earlier. And a while down the road, I was talking to a friend, and he said, I can tell you exactly what was wrong with you. I said, what? For 2 weeks solid, every 2 hours, they were giving me a drug halfway between morphine and heroin.
You were having
I was
withdrawals.
having withdrawals. I didn't know that. I think
Just
no
on
wonder the
2
Lord.
weeks. Isn't that something?
Well, but every 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
And when I tried to, I was still in the hospital, and I tried
Downstairs.
to get,
Go downstairs.
Where is it?
On the stairs, downstairs. Go downstairs.
and I quit taking the painkillers while I was in the hospital, and all my systems went haywire, my blood pressure shot up, everything. And the doctors just chewed me out and said, no, you need these painkillers. Your body needs to recoup. He said, you know, once you get out of the hospital, we'll wean you off of this stuff. You know, I went home and I weaned myself right away.
I got trying to find
And